Hey everybody, welcome to Dispatches. For those of you who don't know, Dispatches is a motorcycle adventure ride. It is aimed at breaking down the stigma surrounding post-traumatic stress disorder in the veteran and first responder communities. My name is Michael Terry. I am a 23-year veteran of the Canadian Armed Forces. I retired in 2018, and immediately when I retired, I started to notice that the symptoms and complications of that affected me in terms of PTSD immediately started to get worse, as soon as I left that culture. So I decided to buy a motorcycle, this very motorcycle in fact, and ride across Canada. I started to share my story and my struggles with PTSD on social media and tried to encourage others to do the same. So that was in 2018. It's now 2020. As of recording right now, tomorrow was supposed to be my first official day of the ride for 2020. Obviously with the COVID-19 pandemic, that did not happen. So I'm here today instead, riding through Norfolk County. I've had to switch gears, had to cancel my plans, and decided to invest in some new gear, start looking at the moto vlog side of the house. So here we are testing it out. I have no idea how this is going to sound. I'm not too worried about my video setup. I'm a little more worried about my audio. And but yeah, if it all goes well, you'll know because you'll be watching this. So what I wanted to talk about today was basically grabbing a win. Now, I've been sharing videos since, for 2020, since early on in the year. And one of the things I mentioned was the fact that with COVID-19, with the social isolation, and kind of that overarching threat, how very calm and at ease I felt, more so than I felt in Canada probably in 20-something years, since I returned from my first deployment in Bosnia. And, I really kind of, everything felt okay. I felt very calm. Felt quite content, in fact. And I think what it was it was kind of the rest of the world normalizing to that state that I pretty much exist in. And I think a lot of veterans felt the same way. I had some friends who definitely felt the same way, but what they noticed was they crashed pretty quickly. Some of them, within a week or two after kind of all the tactical problems had been sorted out, they experienced this big crash, and I didn't. I kind of rode that wave for quite a while, and I definitely noticed about a week or two ago, about the 15th of May, when I officially canceled the ride, is when I started to feel that the bottom kind of drop out of all that. And it's what I think it really came down to was there was that normalization that the rest of the world was kind of catching up to me as a veteran and somebody affected by post-traumatic stress disorder. But I also had a purpose, and I had a lot of work to do, and it was work that really mattered to me. So it's very easy to remain focused and really to kind of laser in on that. Now, when I canceled the ride, I think a couple of things happened. It wasn't unexpected. I really thought, okay, I'll cancel the ride, I'll shift gears, it won't be a big deal. And I definitely underestimated the effect it would have. Now, and I think the reason I underestimated it, or the reason it affected me more than I expected, was for a couple reasons. Number one was, you putting that much time and effort into planning something, and even though, I had kind of prepared, I expected the worst, hoped for the best. Even with that in mind, when it came down to the day I had to cancel, I think that really, it just drove home the fact that, this isn't happening. So there was that. I live alone, single guy, so no kids at home. So that social isolation was a big thing too. I mean, I really cut back my interaction with people, and I think that was a big impact because once the ride started, I was going to be on the go. I was going to be going out, not just going out and meeting people, but a big part of this ride, going out talking to people about PTSD is the simple fact that you are going out and you are having very meaningful, very powerful, very impactful interactions with people. And that's honestly, it's one of the big healing parts of, doing the ride and doing that outreach work, is having that impact and having those meaningful interactions. And I don't think I really considered the fact that once I canceled the ride, I was canceling that aspect of it as well. And I think subconsciously I was just really looking forward to having that interaction. I think as I planned and went through all that process, there was the delayed gratification. I knew that part was coming, and I failed to factor that into my cancellation planning. So that, I think, and that was probably the biggest hit that I took. And just give me a moment here, because this corner could be a little... There we go. So definitely felt it. A lot of disappointment. Probably, hit a bit of depression. Just hit a slump. And one of the things, when you hit a slump, I find, is you got to go grab a win. There are times where things just don't go right and things don't go well. Sometimes for a period of time you experience things not working out, plans not coming to fruition, or sometimes just a string of really bad occurrences. And along with canceling the ride, I've lost 3 people from my regimental family in about as many weeks. One right after the other, some of them under some really bad circumstances. One of them to suicide, that I know, that's confirmed. And all that, it just weighs on you, So I had a ride canceled. I've lost lots of friends. My hometown, my home province has of Nova Scotia has kind of been taking a shit kicking lately with, the mass shootings. 3-year-old lost in my hometown. Helicopter crash for folks who are, who deployed out of Halifax, Nova Scotia. And the snowbird crash, which affected, again, somebody, a Nova Scotia native. So, it's definitely been, a lot of bad news, plus canceling the ride. That's a whole shitload of stuff to take on at once. And whether you realize it or not, the weight of those things in a big string like that can have a really, really strong effect on you. So, really feeling that about a week ago. And, I just kind of recognized I need a win. And it doesn't have to be a big win. Sometimes when things are going to shit, you just need to go out and grab even just a little one. And for me last week, that was just a ride out to Niagara Falls. And there was nothing else behind it. It was a midweek, early morning ride. I wanted to go, ride the parkway, see the falls, see the gorge. And let's be honest, COVID-19 and all the restrictions and everything being shut down kind of lent itself to a unique experience. That experience being that the place was deserted. And so I planned out my day, I planned out a route, and I just kind of went and executed that plan. And it's no big feat at all, but it's that psychological, it's the win, right? I planned something, I executed it successfully, and, the psychological effect of that was immediate. I had an awesome ride, had a great day, and you immediately feel your spirits lift because you've now exerted control, a measure of control. You have, expended effort, seen immediate result, seen positive result. And after a string of, I won't say failures, but after a string of setbacks, the psychological effect of that is, it can be really uplifting. It can be a bit of a game changer. And I definitely found that just doing that really energized me, and it was 9 hours on my other bike, which is not an all-day bike at all. So it had an element of challenge to it. By the end of the day, certain parts of my anatomy were definitely numb. I was certainly tired, it totally wiped me out. And, if I'd spent the day on my couch instead, I'd have still been tired. Would have been, that very lethargic, lazy tired, which honestly just lends itself to that downward spiral of, in terms of emotional well-being. Instead I went out and kind of left it all out on the road. And I gotta say, like, since then, I've been energized. If I hadn't done that, I don't know that I would have had the energy to set up this new gear today, try it out. It would have been all too easy to just fall into that cycle of, I'm just gonna sit on my couch and let the time pass away. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. I just want to talk to you about grabbing a win. So any little win when things are just going down the tubes, just exercising that little bit of your free will and making something happen, making something positive happen, even if it's just something small like a simple day out riding. So I will leave you guys with that for the week. I'm excited to get home and have a look at this footage, see how it works out. I got the new GoPro Max 360 degree camera, and I'm seeing some great stuff online, some great results from it. Hopefully I can bring some of those great results to life and share this video with you guys. All right, take care of each other, take care of yourselves, and we'll talk to you next week. Cheers.